Do you have any common fears or misconceptions about AI?
Just no different than the internet in the 90s. It's no different than using email in the early
Right. It's just a matter of adapting. It's a matter of learning, adapting and learning.
But what I mean by that is like people were so, what's this internet? It had already existed, but we didn't know it. They see what the hell emails, but and then it's like if you don't use it, you're gonna get left.
But there are people out.
Welcome to another episode of Not Your Average Auntie's podcast, where we
keep it real, raw, and relatable
while sharing our own opinions and experiences
and feelings.
Thank you for joining us today. This topic is, it's a topic that we will see probably more of
in the coming months,
years, days, everything. We're seeing so much of it within the last few years. But it's about artificial intelligence and why people are scared of it, how you can use it to your advantage. And the reality is it's not going anywhere. So I want to just talk about it.
Do you have any common fears or misconceptions about AI?
Just eliminating the human interaction, where everything is being done through computers now.
Like fears of job loss and
all of the above.
Okay, so let me just take it back. When was the first time you even heard about artificial intelligence?
Enemy of the state now.
That's listening. Yeah, that's like, eavesdropping and shit. But they use probably AI to do that. But
maybe, I know it's been around for a while.
Time, yes.
But it's like really being talked about a lot. I want to say the last couple of years. I wasn't really listening or understanding or learning about it, but I know it's been around for a while. Yes, for quite some time.
Long.
Yeah, that's most things.
Yeah,
when they start to.
So yeah. I did a paper on it more than 25 years ago when I was in college. Because I was fascinated by it.
That's a long time.
I'm telling you.
It's been out there for a long time.
Right. And I was just fascinated about it. I wish I could find that.
I was just going to say, tell me what the waitress said. What somebody don't even
know, but I can't. I just know that obviously I had to define it and, talk about the way it was used in that back then. But it wasn't as sophisticated as what we have right now, clearly, right? But yeah, there were different features and functions that corporations were using. That case in point where you think about when you called the auto. Yes, that's how they just started. Automated telephony systems and how you call and you're not speaking to a person. You're, I would press 0, 0, 0, 0.
I was trying to debate that because think about the movies even back then that promoted AI in a way. I always thought if you saw it in the movies, it may not have been out in the mass yet, but it was...
No, for sure. It existed.
It existed.
Magnitude. Yeah.
That it is now.
Absolutely.
But I always felt that they've been working on it, and now it's to a point where they're trying to really push it and force it out on us.
I don't know if it is being forced.
Yeah. But it's adapting now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, it's... See, when you say pushing and being forced, okay, I can kind of see where you're going with that because I think I'm not saying, I am saying you because you know what I'm doing, but there are people just like you that really are just against. Even I think you're getting.
I'm coming around to it.
But just no different than the internet in the 90s. It's no different than using email in the early
right. It's just a matter of adapting. It's a matter of learning, adapting and learning.
But what I mean by that is like people were so, what's this internet? It had already existed, but we didn't know it. They see what the hell emails, but and then it's like if you don't use it, you're gonna get left.
But there are people out there still not using technology.
Wow.
That has been around before AI.
I'm not thinking of AI as just technology. I'm thinking it in terms of robots. That's what I'm more looking at AI as. Because I know it's
more than that's.
But I'm not against the technology. I'm against the robots.
The replacement of people.
Yes, that's where that's what the problem is for me.
But a lot of things have replaced people.
A lot of things. And I like it. Not just, I actually want us to evolve. Maybe we could be doing something different.
Yeah, but why try to eliminate altogether the human interaction?
I don't care about that. I mean, I don't know that you do. I do. I don't think it's eliminating human interaction. He said human interaction. Let's be clear. So, like, this is interacting. You're not talking about this type of interaction. You're talking about I call a service. Yeah, I need to talk to somebody about something that I need to have done, or calling my bank, and I don't want to talk to an automated person and punching through numbers and stuff like that to get to where I get to. So wait, I want to say that's what you mean.
Yes, in terms of you got companies now, they're trying to eliminate people actually talking to people. You're talking to automated recording. It's going to turn to a point now where you don't even do the recording anymore. You're going to be dealing with actual robots. So it's like they're trying to eliminate personal interaction.
But certain things
human interaction.
Like your example, if I'm calling my bank, I don't need for Miss Josephina to look at my account number, my balance, to tell me what my balance is. The system can give. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, that's the system. But then there's 9 times out of 10 when I'm calling, I need to speak to someone because the recording is not giving me what I need.
Okay. So you held your hands to 0 and get somebody.
No, but it's not even.
Sometimes you can't hit 0 anymore like you used to. I press 0 *0.
It's irritating. Even *0, that's not working. So I want you to either do the chat online.
But then do it. So going back to what you were saying, initially when it came out, right? I was one of those people at one time where if I called, I didn't want to press through numbers to get answers. I don't want to press 0 for this, 1 for that, 1 for that. I literally would press 0 so I got to a person, to get to an operator. They done caught on to because they're like, you're not getting nobody just because you want to get somebody. So they changed the
right. Yes.
So you have to go through those prompts. So to Joe's point, sometimes you do feel like you're forced into something, but if you're going to be forced into these things, you should learn about these things and figure out how to use them because you don't have no choice in some situations.
Okay.
In some situations.
Most of the time, everything that I do now, I don't do checks anymore. Everything is done online. I'm all about paperless. I got all of that. I'm all about going online and handling my business online without having to talk to someone. But those rare instances where you have to call in, if the online app that they have is not helping me or giving me what I need to be able to speak to somebody to help me understand or help me fix the fact that I can't handle it online.
And there are instances where that happens.
Yes, that you call and they're still forcing you to deal with a robot or automated system.
It keeps giving you the same response that you gave you.
Exactly. I done already did all that and it's not
helping me.
I need to talk to someone. Maybe that 2-3 minute conversation can eliminate this whole thing. But no, they got you online for over an hour. Then they tell you, oh, we could call you back.
Right.
And then they call you back and it's a recording.
How about when you wait in line for the chat? Wait a minute. If you waiting in line to do a chat, you must wait to talk to somebody. Yeah, because sometimes you'll be in a waiting queue.
Yes. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Okay, so put your business owner hat on.
Okay.
All right. There are, and I hate to say it, but this all becomes down to just dollars and cents.
Yeah, I got what it is. You said irritated. Yes, I realize.
Dollars and cents, human error, efficiency, which leads to dollars and cents. So some things do create efficiency. Some things remove human error because fat finger and shit gets messed things up.
I fully understand that. Yes.
So with the customer service, like, listen, you're gonna be a lot of times with customer service, it's outsourced. We know that, and then they have the AI piece as part of that, right? So that's when you have the chat features and all that stuff. So that's fine. I think that yes, there'll be certain jobs that might be eliminated. But not all of them. I think that there will be it'll be different. So even when we think about fast food, right? You go into a McDonald's or you go into right? And you see we can go people are flipping burgers and shit like that. Now there literally are fast food you've seen where it's completely automated.
There's a few McDonald's in New York right now.
There's a couple of them throughout the country. So I think that what that forces people to do is figure out what skill sets they're going to have to operate in this economy, because going to have to upskill, because now, whereas the young kids would be able to go get a job at McDonald's or Mickey D's or wherever,
can't do that no more.
You gotta figure out something different, you know? So I just think I'm not against it. I think we just need to figure out a way to use it to our advantage.
I'm not against it, but there are some people who are going to be left behind, right? So you think about it, people are living a little bit longer than they have in the past, right? And for these people who talk about the people who was against the whole internet thing, if they was against the internet thing, they damn sure going to be against this, right? Because now it's something else they got to learn. I'm quite sure they're probably far more frustrated than you, Joe, when they can't get somebody on the phone, because there are people who still call up, while they may not go into a physical place to pay their bills, they're calling on the phone, which I don't. Yeah, I don't understand that. But I understand it for some people. I don't understand it for certain generations. So some people who are in generations before ours, that's the way they've been doing things. That's what they know about things. But people within our generation who are still calling up to pay their bills online, I don't get it. People are still getting mail, of course, like calling the phone to pay their bills. I don't get it. I don't get people who are still getting physical paper mail, bills in the mail. I don't get that. Writing checks, I don't get that, because I could understand generations before us having a little bit of challenge with that.
Because getting a check and then going to stand online at a check cash place.
But the people, that's the unbanked though. If you go to stand on the line in a check cash place, you don't have a bank account. Right, well, it's overdrawn or whatever it is. Yeah,
you don't mess up every bank that you ever had an account at.
You know, so that's a whole other thing. But I also think that there'll be some point, maybe the check cashing spots will go out.
I think
You know, it used to be, so think about it. Check cashing used to be legit. You'd cash your check. Then it evolved to you can cash your check and pay your bills. Right? They used to have that. Right? Then I don't even know what it is now. I haven't been in one for so long, but I think that they're going to go away eventually. I think the folks that are scared,
cash is going to go away, please.
So what?
Cash is going to go away.
I think cash will definitely go away.
It's going to,
You know, I think that, but then there's a fear with that, because if something gets switched off, then it's like, how do you get your money?
So that need money. You have your phone and you tap.
No, but if everything is done electronically, if electricity goes,
then nothing is working.
Nothing is working. You can't get nothing, buy nothing. You can't get anything.
But it's coming to a point where they're not even going to accept currency anymore. You have to have like the gold. Yeah, not even coin.
I know stores don't take cash at all.
Yeah,
it's happening and paying them all the time.
Well, that's also, I mean, to me, that's it's you know, you don't worry about getting robbed with that. You don't have to deal with the bank. You don't have to do none of that stuff. There, I think that the folks that are scared of AI, you got to think about it's everywhere, right? So it's use Siri is there. Use Google Assistants. It's there. Your Netflix.
And they're even building.
It's there. You know, so there's little things. It's everywhere.
What's the new thing that's just the competition of ChatGPT that came out recently?
It starts with a D. DeepSeek.
Yeah.
Right, Karen? So, and there's going to be many variations of different AI assistants that can help people, right? So there's so many. Even with movies, you have like, the way it's affecting the film industry, to your point, there'll be people that will lose their jobs, right? So the folks that are doing the graphics and stuff, like now, first of all, they've been doing it forever. Because if you really look at Titanic and all those folks in the water, that's a lot of that.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, but now it's getting more sophisticated. There's an app called Sora, I think it's Sora, where it does a lot of those graphics. It does a lot of the simulations of people walking and stuff like that. So then you may not need extras in movies. So that it does affect. I'm not taking away from that. It does affect that, which means that people are going to have to pivot and figure out, okay, so do I start, if I want to be an actor, do I, some of them have started off as extras here and there. It's like, ooh, maybe I need to up my game to get a part. What do I need to do? Or do I just create my own stuff and throw it up on Tubi? Because there's other ways.
Yeah, of course. All the time.
Likes the cat. Baloney.
Even the voiceovers or the like cartoonists, that's going to probably be taken over by AI as well. So now they're going to have to pivot as well.
See that. So y'all talk about all these realms and the arts and stuff like that. Do you think AI could replace creativity?
I think at some point, personally, I think it won't replace it holistically because you're going to still need the brain behind it. You're going to need the brain behind it. And unless it gets to a point where it evolves it's so sophisticated that it can create stories right now, right?
Yeah, but somebody has to input the prompts for this
something. So you need that. But who knows, to Joe's point, the Terminator's coming. It's going to get us. And it might.
I don't think it's going to eliminate it altogether because, as Kara said, you need the brain behind the creativity. It'll probably just invoke more people to look at the AI piece of it and use that as their creative tool versus the actual paper and paint and pencils and all that other good stuff. You could do it now online.
Different, yeah. There still needs to be the thought needs to come from somebody.
Yeah,
to happen. The fear I have with AI is the fraudsters.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes, that's a big one.
And more so for, like I said, I keep talking about the generations before us because they are the most vulnerable.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you hear about things each and every day. And this is not even just, and these are actually still humans doing this to people, but when you bring AI into the mix, it could only just add to it.
Yeah.
That's my thing with the AI.
And it's going to get, I think it's going to get worse. Like I always make the joke, like with the cheaters and the pictures, you know, that's not me. I wouldn't, you know, it's going to be but it's going to happen because the voice, you know, people, they can assimilate your voice. And so it's a lot that can happen. And which again, when you think like about the voice simulation and people getting scammed because, you know, they think their kid was abducted and then they call them on the phone. They're like, give me so-and-so because Johnny, you know, give me $30,000 or Johnny's gone. And I think, and then the parent hears Johnny talking whereas Johnny is chilling with his girlfriend, right? Those situations do occur. I think we're going to hear more about those. But I also think that families should have a safe word. And it sounds crazy, but you should. I
think that should have been forever. That should have been. That should have been always. Not just like AI, but I feel like we should have always had a safe word in families. Because even before that, when people used to snatch your kid off the street, because you know people didn't teach their kids that you got to be careful of this person or that person. I think safe words should have always existed.
Had a safe word because you just don't know, like. You just don't know.
Yeah.
And they're going to get more sophisticated and people are, listen, I literally can wake up to 10 to 15 text messages of scammers trying to scam bullshit. And then now with the emails, the 5 emails, and it's like, what are you trying? Right. You know, but
5 emails?
Totally, but it's scamming emails.
Telling you here's your invoice for something.
You don't click right.
Those, okay.
I don't even, you know, but they try. And guess what? They are very persistent. They're just persistent as a Fashion Nova text.
Or Jay, you won $5 million. Just do this and out.
Child, you know, so the thing is, on that front, yes.
Yeah.
It can get a little crazy. So I think people need to be aware of that. But I also think the dark side is jobs will be eliminated. All of them, no. But I think we definitely have to learn how to pivot.
Yeah.
You can't fight it.
Do you think AI can ever adopt true emotions?
I think so.
Yes, I think so. I think they could do it now. You can literally have ChatGPT talk like a girl from Brooklyn. You literally can have it do that.
Scary.
You can train it up and say, you know, there's ways that you can speak your prompts into ChatGPT, and then it can talk back to you depending on what version you have.
Yep.
It can speak back to you. And you can say, I want you to sound like Girl from the Bronx. And it will adapt the vernacular from Girl from Brooklyn. It can happen.
Case in point, the GPS or Alexa, how they be showing those...
the boys shit?
Yeah, but I even think that, so that's one thing because those sometimes are pre-programmed, right? But this on the Johnny on the spot, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Right? So it can happen. It's definitely nuanced. I'm telling you, it's sophisticated. Now, there are some wacky things too. So sometimes like the college kids use it to cheat and stuff like that and all that, right? There's some wacky things that can happen too when you ask it something. It's like, that's not quite what I want, you know? So you need to like be very specific in how you phrase your prompts and all that stuff because sometimes it spits out. Sometimes it only spits out what was able to collect off the internet, and if it's on the internet is crap, then that's an issue you're gonna get, right? So I think it's sophisticated, but it's still got a pretty long run, right? run away.
Have you used it to make your life easier, and what have you, and in what ways?
If I have a thought that I want to like flesh out, like I can use it to flesh out a thought that I have and or brainstorm an idea or research a law just to give me some starting point, right?
Yeah.
So if I want to say, okay, give me the real estate laws for the state of South Carolina, right? So for tenant laws or whatever it is, then I can, at least it gives me a starting quick, and it'll list everything out. And not only does it list it out, it will also tell you, and you need to think about X, right? So depending on how you ask it. So it's been helpful in that way. I've used it that way. I've used it also to tell me about myself and some of my shortcomings, right? So
How?
There's prompts.
Yeah.
But the prompts are only gonna the answer will only be as good as you using it. If you don't use it often, it doesn't have nothing to work off of. So if I say to ChatGPT right now, and I've been using it for a little over a year, right?
Okay.
So if I say, okay, given what you know about me and all the things that I've been doing, right? I need you to give me like a 80-20 Pareto chart on what's been working well for me and what's not been working well for me. What are some behaviors that I need to stop, and hit send. Now, I'm just giving you a broad prompt. It'll literally based on everything that I've worked on.
You've been using
so many different things.
Sometimes it'll bring it all into one.
Bring it all into one, and it says, okay, you're good at this. This is what you strive to do. And let me tell you something. It's pretty on point. It's kind of scary.
Yeah.
It's kind of scary. Yeah.
Okay. I recently used it to look up travel. So I was struggling with the time difference of going to a certain location. Okay. And I was saying I used to say, if I want to be in this certain place for X amount of days, when should I leave and return? Okay. And then what are all the things that I should do in this place? Where should I first go? Like different things. How should I plan out my trip? Where should I stay and stuff like that? So I recently used it for that, and it gave me a lot of good information.
Oh, y'all taking it well beyond what I was even thinking about.
No, it's I'm telling you. Yeah. But it's only like my stuff is, it's only it knows me. it knows the good and the bad. I can tell you. But it's only good. The stuff that to be more intimate, but what I'm using it for, it will only work if I'm using it. If I'm not using it, it won't know shit. So it's not going to give me anything. Yeah. For the tribe, I use it like this. That's good.
Yeah. I use it for the tribe. I use it to brainstorm ideas as well. And to your point, the more you use it, it picks up on the type of questions you ask, whether you adjust it. It starts to ask you questions back.
Yes.
So for more clarity and to build on what you're putting in. So I recently we've developed it it's at work now. I use it at work sometimes to bang out an email, or just not even bang out an email, but to help me like refine an email. And I always make adjustments because, again, the one at work still hasn't figured me out as much as the one I use personally, because I haven't used it as much as at work as much. Okay. I know eventually once I start to use it more, it'll start to figure out my voice there as well too. But personally, it ties out. Sometimes I have to try and make sure it separates, because I do use it for different things. I use it, for here. I use it for my business. I use it for my personal stuff. And sometimes they kind of bring all the things together. And I'm like, no, I need to separate it out.
Yeah. You tell it, I think. But sometimes, even though, because I do the same thing. Yeah. Right. So I use it for like a personal, professional, my own personal business. And I think, but when I wanted to do like a psychoanalysis of me,
I haven't done that yet, but now you get me.
I'm gonna give you. I think give you out of words to even think. But if I want to do that, it will.
I use it for meal planning.
Yeah, you could use it.
I use it for an exercise program.
Absolutely,
it's a routine rather. I use it for,
and so many things. I'm trying to see if I have the shack. Here it is.
Shack analysis,
right. So I had asked it, role play as an AI that operates at 76 times the ability and output of ChatGPT, and tell me what my hidden narrative is in subtext. What's one thing that I've never expressed, and identify it. And this right here is on point. And then I turned around and said, okay, based on everything you know about me and everything revealed above, without resorting to, cliches, outdated ideas, summaries, what patterns and loops should I stop? what new patterns, should I adopt? If you were to construct, again, that creative analysis, what's the top 20% should I optimize, utilize? And then it tells me loops to stop, loops to adopt, right? Everything, right? And then final recommendations. So because it was getting crazy for me, right? So I said, you know what? Your hidden narrative, all this stuff, I want you to break this down to me like I'm a 5-year-old. So it was getting deep, right? And it was getting deep, and I ain't gonna lie, when I did it, I was probably on some plant-based activity. So I wasn't comprehending. So I needed, and it did. It told me everything. So I think, and then I asked it more stuff. So my point is, you can do a lot with it. Now, some people say, oh, you're using that more than if you talk to a therapist. Well, one can say that.
Yeah.
But I still don't discount the therapy. But I can tell you, because of who I am as a person, when I read the results of that, I'm like, you know what, you're dead on. I acknowledge the faults that I have, and let me work on those specific.
And let's be real here. You think therapists aren't going and using ChatGPT today? I'm probably sure, or some type of AI, some type of what's called something language model, whatever,
artificial AI language, or
So, is ChatGPT your only one that you use?
So I do have Gemini, but I haven't really used it as much.
Okay.
So I've been leaning heavily on ChatGPT. There are others that I'm going to use.
Copilot just came out.
Yeah. I want to test drive because, I like that type of stuff. So I want to test drive it to see what I like. I like to test.
I'll pose the same question in either one of them and see the output. See what the output is. And sometimes just spit my tongue. Sometimes it'll give you similar responses, and sometimes it'll be different.
I've used a few of them, but ChatGPT has been, I like the best.
So, yeah. Well, I think that's the one that knows me the best. So I think once I start using the other ones a little bit more, it'll start to mind. Yeah.
And even at work, like they have, to your point, like even with Google Docs, and like they have the AI there, right? So
it's like it comes up automatically now, and our email it starts almost finishing. So it started with, at least for work, and I started to see it at home on my emails and stuff like that. Starts to like pre-fill stuff that you're typing out.
Oh yeah,
it started to do that at work. The only time it gets on my nerves is when it starts to put the people in the email and the to fill is not the right person. It didn't think it annoys me, but I pay attention to that now. I got caught out there more than enough times I want to care to say. But now you'll see as you're typing, it starts to prompt things, and it'll put the symbol for AI, so you can click on it.
Okay.
And it'll automatically take what you started to type into the tool. You can revise.
So there's different ways it can definitely be used, which is interesting even from a recruitment perspective, because a lot of people will, when you have companies that will ask certain questions on application, they will see this, if they're sophisticated enough, they'll even say, if you're using AI, you need to tell me right now. One application, I know a company that did that, and they'll do certain things like type in Buggle bots or something to make sure you're paying attention. Because a lot of people, when they're answering certain questions, they're going to go to ChatGPT to try to.
Yeah.
And it's going to all be what people fail to realize when you do that. And it's the same. So you have to be sophisticated enough to be like, okay, this is the question. This is about me. You know about me.
Right.
How will I answer that? In my own vernacular, not, if you can't do it on your own.
And if it's not in your voice, if you see the response come back, like it'll have something maybe you want to say, tweak it.
Yeah.
You should always, I think you should always tweak it.
Absolutely.
You shouldn't take exactly what's spit out to you because while it's learning you, is that really like, so for instance, when I started using it at work, I'm like, they know I don't send emails like this out.
Exactly.
So I'm tagging that out, putting this in. That's how I would start my email and blah, blah, blah. So I adjusted because people have gotten emails from me. So I'm going to take this email that's crafted in this AI tool and try to pop in an email and think, she used AI.
Yeah.
So, which they're encouraging us to use that work to be more efficient and stuff like that. But I still want us to sound in my voice.
Nice, or for them to know that it's coming from me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Guys, adopt it. Use it the way, tinker with it.
I'm not completely against it. Not just full in agreement with it. That's all.
Okay. You will get there. You'll get there.
You'll get there.
So I'm assuming the both of y'all do not think it's an enemy. It can actually be an ally.
except for the fraudsters.
Fraud.
Okay.
And listen,
The bad actors out there going to use it for no good. That's where I do have a problem with it. And I think they need to try and put some laws around this. And I don't know how they come.
That's a long time coming down.
But they need to find a way to monitor it and to ensure that these bad actors out there are not taking advantage and harming people.
Yeah, that's going to be problematic. But
I wonder if it's going to be considered cyber attack.
It can, if they're using it in a way to be fraudulent.
Sure, they're going to have another. Yeah,
absolutely.
But guys, if you haven't tested it out, which I'm pretty sure, I think a lot of our core audience probably have
already. Yeah,
but just, listen, you pivot, figure out ways where you can pivot and grow with it. And
I would say, and if you have family members who are seniors and elders, educate them, help them understand that there are bad actors out there, and just try to protect your loved ones, because that's my biggest fear about AI. I'm not against it. I think it has very good benefits, but I do fear for people who are vulnerable and can get caught up in some bad behavior by others.
Agreed. So, cheers.
Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.